Hello everyone and welcome back to the Fashion Fiasco Show. I'm your girl Nikki Fiasco and here we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and sometimes frightening side of the beauty, cosmetic, and fashion industry. We also take an organic look at love, relationships, and anything topic-wise that may affect you. So tonight's topic is inspired by Miss Emily B, Fabs, baby moms, girlfriend maybe, Beyonce. I don't know what's going on with them, but I am such a huge fan of her and of VH1 hip-hop wise. I have a passion for Wives Anything. And the reason I pretty much like that show is because it is astounding to me that no matter how much money you have, women generally tend to have the same problems. And the reason I like them is because, one, they're women of color, and two, at least 3 out of the 5 issues that the women have had, I have gone through myself. Let's go through the characters really, really quickly, and we're going to talk about tonight's topic. And tonight's topic is, I love you, but I'm leaving you. Inspired, of course, by Miss Emily B. And one more time, I love you, but I'm leaving you. So the women, Samaya, who is a up-and-coming hip-hop artist, is grinding. She is the new girl on the block. She's trying to make her own, make her way. And we have all experienced that as women. The next one I want to talk about, Olivia. She is kind of like in charge now. She's tired of taking the back seat. She is playing the front. She's taking a hold of her career, and she's realizing that, you know what, if she's going to get out there and make it, it's going to be due to her own ambition and power and her own tenaciousness. I like her because it's funny how, when she was with 50 Cent, they drove her career, she got nothing. She was with Clive Davis, she got nothing. And now she's realizing that if she wants to succeed in life, she's going to take control of her own life. She has to get out there, push, grind, get it in, and she is what I would call the lady who is starting to understand that, hey, you got to take charge of your own life. Whereas in Samaya is what I would call the grinder. Then we have Miss Chrissy B, who is not a fiance, who is not a wife, who is not much of anything but a girlfriend. She is now engaged, but she is a young lady who many of us can identify with. She has held down her man for so long, but her man has not given her the official title of fiance. He has not proposed to her. She even went so far as to proposing to him. She's getting older. She realized that she wants things, and, if things are going to start coming to fruition, then guess what? She's pretty much going to move on. Let's talk about Kimbella. She is the new chick on the block. Do not care for her. I just think her approach was very tacky. Well, I do not agree that Chrissy should have beat the girl to death. I think she should have given Emily B a chance to prove herself. Right now, she's a new girl on the block. She is the girl who's had some questionable behavior in the past, and her attitude and her poise and demeanor kind of, create the sense that maybe that impression that she's giving off is true. So we're going to call her the new girl on the block. And let's get to Miss Emily B. Miss Emily B is Fab's old girlfriend, baby moms. I don't know what you want to call her, but I like her. As you guys know, this topic of I'm loving you, but I'm leaving you, or I love you and I'm leaving you, is inspired by Miss Emily B. She really hit home for me. The first episode last season, they just showed her coming to the realization that Fabulous had cheated on her, was not faithful to her, did not uphold his promises to her. Now, what they did at home was something different, but in the public eye, she was nowhere to be seen. She was not acknowledged. And there's nothing like being a hidden girl or a side girl or a secret love or whatever you want to call it. Miss Emily B has been fighting for Mr. Fabulous, or John, as she calls him, affections, and nothing's been coming to fruition. So let's talk about Miss Emily B. And we're going to talk about the 5 things that you can do if you find yourself in the same situation. Whereas you're giving your all to someone and they're not giving it back to you. You're supporting someone, loving someone. They want to keep you as a side chick. They don't want to be committed to you. They don't want to be monogamous to you. They want to play the field. And I can only talk about African American men because I've dated them. But let me tell you, it is a lot of that in our community. I do not understand. I understand that black men are the hot commodity. Everybody wants to date them, Everybody thinks that they're good looking. Look at our sports figures. Look at our entrepreneurs. Think about it. They all are seen as a hot commodity. And when you're seen as a hot commodity, your value rises. And when your value rises, people being able to get you or people being able to have access to you becomes scarce. So it's just like a resource. Black men are resources. And a lot of them nowadays are opting not to be committed or not be in committed relationships. Now, I'm not man bashing at all. This is not what this is about. But ladies, I know many of us find ourselves in these type of situations where the other girl mess with married men or just emotionally unavailable men. So if you find yourself in the situation, and I have been there. I was actually married and my husband was a mess. And you have to figure out, I mean, you can only endure so much pain. You have to figure out what's good for you, what's best for you. And I'm going to talk about Miss Emily B because she goes through 5 steps, and I'm calling the 5 R's of I love you, but I'm leaving you. So the first thing that happens to her is she goes through something called realization. That was pretty much the whole of episode 1. She realized that Fab was not going to be with her. She realized that he lied to her. She realized that he was not honest with her. She realized that his behavior was demeaning to her. She realized that he was not monogamous. She realized that he slept with a lot of women. She had realization going on in the first episode. Ladies, we all go through this. I can talk about myself personally. I realized that my husband was not faithful. I realized that he really didn't want to be married. I realized that I was in pain. I realized that it was heartbreaking. I realized that if I didn't do something, I was going to either kill him, kill myself, or kill us both. I mean, it got to be where it was just one of those very tense moments. You realize that you have so much value. And realization is simply coming to the conclusion that a situation is what it is. Miss Emily B went through that. She was like, you know what? Fab is doing all this stuff. He doesn't care about me. We have a kid. He wants to show up for the pictures. And the thing that I liked about them shooting Miss Emily B is the fact that they shot her in such a raw, present form. You understood what she was going through. You could sympathize. You felt her pain. It was all raw energy. This is who she was. And I love the part where she's opening up her picture, Henry picture, and Fab is not there. And I think it was from that point on that her realization was affirmed. She knew that what she was feeling was correct. Now, ladies, after we have realization, we have to have, an affirmation. Something has to come to affirm or let us know that what we are seeing is absolute truth. For me, it was my husband wasn't coming home. My husband was cheating on me. Girls were calling the house. And I finally had a girl who was kind of like in my face with it. That was my affirming moment. I knew that what I was feeling was absolute truth. So after she went through realization, she went through a process that I want to call revamping. Another R. So after she had realization, she started revamping. Revamping is basically taking a look at your life, assessing what you can keep, what you can throw away. Emily B assessed what she could keep. She couldn't keep Fab. He didn't want to be monogamous. She understood that. But she knew that she had to keep her self-worth, her dignity. She had to get herself together for her son. She had to get herself together for her daughter. She had to be the best person she could be. She had to come with terms to how she felt. So she had to revamp, just come to terms with what was going on, throw out what she couldn't keep, and what was of value she did keep or she kept. So love the revamp. She got a plan. Ladies, you have to have a plan. If you're in a relationship with someone or they're not doing what they're supposed to do, but they keep tagging you along or stringing you along and saying they're going to do this and they're going to do that and they don't, you have to learn how to revamp the situation. What tools, what assets, what do you have? Me, ladies, I can only talk about me. I basically figured out that my husband was not going to do right. He was just going to be who he was regardless, and it was not up to me to change him. So I said, you know what? I have these 4 little kids. I'm educated. I've always worked. So how about this? Because it had gotten so bad for me, emotionally, I said, let's get a divorce. I initiated the divorce. I moved out. And I said, I can take care of my children on my own. Not that I, wanted to, but it was just the best thing for us. Because it's really hard to be in a family or try to have a family situation or have a family with someone who is not family oriented or with someone who does not want to be in that family whole and complete. Very selfish. And I'm sorry, sometimes, we as parents, we as individuals can be very selfish. And I will say this, we as women, according to society, are not allowed to be selfish. We're seen as bad mothers. We're seen as unfit. But for a man, it is much, much more easier to be selfish. A man can walk out at any time. A man can have multiple wives. A man can sleep around. He's allowed to indulge in these things that women are not. So you have to take an assessment, revamp, and have a plan. My plan was, let's get a divorce. Not that I did not try to work it out, not that I didn't want to. In fact, I did something that many people would think was foolish. I gave him 1 solid year. I said, I'm moving out. I'm not telling you where I'm moving to. I'm not telling you, where I live. I'm not telling you anything. I'm going to give you 1 solid year to sow your oats. If you want to see your children, then that's fine. You call me. We meet at some place that's cordial and conducive for both of us. But that is it. I did that for a year. And while he did that, I worked on myself emotionally. He still did not come around. But after that year, I was able to say, I gave it all I had. I did everything I could. And it's now time for me to move on. So after that, we got a divorce. I assessed or revamped and I got a divorce. I got child support. Ladies, let me tell you something. I don't want to hear about, oh, I love him and I think he's going to do better. Or I love him and I don't want him to be mad at me, so I'm not going to put him on child support. Listen to what I'm telling you. A lot of men feel that child support is, oh, I don't want to give it to her because she's using it for other things and yakety schmackety. Let me tell you something. Child support is important because there are some things, being a single mother, that I cannot always do on my own. My kids are coming from a dual house to a single house. And 2 incomes make a very big difference. And I actually put child support on my husband when I saw that he was not going to do right and we were still married, because I did not want to chase him down to find him. Because a lot of times, ladies, that's what happens. The guy disappears. You don't see him anymore. If you have an inkling in your mind that he's not going to do right, put him on child support. And people think that's being mean and rude. That's not true. I think you need to remember that your children are first and foremost. You can't have your lights cut off. You got to make sure they have hot water. You got to make sure they have food. You have to make sure they have diapers. I don't even talk about little kids. Daycare. Putting a man on child support is not a bad thing. It's always seen as so negative, but my thing is this. If you are not stepping up as a man, taking care of your responsibilities, and being selfish, oh well. I mean, you made your bed, lie in it. Another thing that she did is she did one more R. She removed herself from that situation. This season, she got her own place. She decided, you know what, I've never had my own place. I need to be on my own. I need to care about me. And she came to grips with her feelings. She removed herself out of the situation and she started understanding and removing those negative feelings and vibes and things and situations from her life. Move out of the situation. If you're living with someone that is not conducive, move. Remove yourself. Remove is simply taking something from one place and putting it to another. If you know that your situation is not conducive to your happiness, your well-being, to your children's well-being, remove yourself. Ladies, get your own place. There's nothing wrong with moving out. Get your own place. Remove yourself. Remove that negative energy from your life. Whatever is making you unhappy, whatever is making you cry, what is ever making you hurt, remove it from your life. Another thing she did was she rolled out. Love this. She rolled out. She said, you know what? I've had it with you and your behavior. Sometimes, ladies, we have to roll out. And I'm not talking about just leaving. I'm talking about emotionally roll out. A lot of times we as women stay in a situation because our emotions are so raw and we cannot remove our emotions from the situation. We're sad and we know we need to leave, but we can't because we have that sadness, or we love someone and we know we need to leave, but we love them. So our emotions get in the way. Remove that thing. And I liked it because she did it on her own time. She's so raw. And I think it was the first episode she said, you know, I love him. She said it. I love him. She confessed, I love him. But you know what? A man is faithful. A man takes care of his family. A man is truthful. A man is monogamous. And if he does not want to be monogamous, then guess what? I don't want any part of it. She was able to say that. And then episode, I believe, 2, I love this. Well, it was 3, actually. I'm sorry, episode 3. She was talking to Chrissy, and Chrissy was like, you know, apologizing to her and saying, you know, that was so wrong of me to do that. I didn't want to, but I feel like, you know, I was defending you because sometimes you're weak in certain areas. And Emily just said, you know what? I love him. I love him. But I can't do this anymore. It's killing me. And I love me more. And Chrissy said, sometimes you have to do things to shake a man up and let him know that you're not playing. Ladies, Sometimes it's like that. You just have to roll out. And I mean, your presence is gone. You don't take phone calls. You don't talk to them. You don't engage them. You don't fight with them. You don't argue with them. You roll out. You just leave the situation altogether. And she has left the situation. She hasn't even talked about it. If you want to talk about it to your significant other or the person in relationship with, then fine. Because sometimes that's just enough to jar them. But other times it may not be. You have to roll out. Me, I had to roll out. I had to leave the state. I moved from Maryland to Atlanta. I had to leave the state. I just had to leave. I was like, I can't do this. And the funny thing about it was, it jarred my husband. He came to see me and he asked me, can we salvage our relationship? And I said, no, let's just continue with our divorce proceedings. Because where were you when I was talking to you repeatedly about what was going on in our house, in our home? You said nothing. You were very plain. You were very blunt. You wouldn't give me the time of day. So now I'm 5 states away with your children and you want to know if we can work it out? No. You had your opportunity. So ladies, sometimes you have to just roll out. And the next R that I want to stress is rebuild. Ladies, I know sometimes after we have given our all to a relationship, we feel like there's nothing left. But let me always tell you, there's always something left. There is a talent. There is an ability. There is a loving, giving woman in there. Sometimes you have to rebuild your life. I have been there. Ladies, I'm watching Miss Emily B do it, and it was crazy because I found myself in tears the entire time. I could understand her pain. Her mascara was running. She was like, I love John. I love him. I love Fab. But he's not doing me right. So I have to rebuild my life. I need to take my daughter, my son, and keep moving. She actually has a fashion line. She's actually dressing clients. She is a fashionista. She actually, just dresses people for different fashion events. And I like that about her. She is taking what skills she has and she's rebuilding her life. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So ladies, let's just remember that there's always something left, that even when you think that you are stripped of everything, you can rebuild. I moved from Maryland to Georgia, rebuild my life. I found someone. It was just a good time for me. I was able to do me. I was able to be happy. I experienced a lot of happiness, but I had to rebuild from ground one. It is not always easy, ladies, but it is so, so worth it. And I promise you, if you take one step, God will help you the rest of the way. So ladies, one more time, we're going to talk about the 5 R's that you need to have in place if you love someone, but you're deciding that you have to leave them. 1, realization. Just find out what the situation is. Confirm that it is what it is. And just, accept it. Just accept the realization that this is what's going on. Number 2, revamp. Figure out what you're going to do. Have a plan. Just know that if you work hard at it, you can have whatever you want in this life. So have a plan. Decide what you want to do. Lay out your pawns and decide to make a move. Life is a game of chess. Make your move. So revamp the situation. Have a strategy, a goal in mind, something that you want to do. Figure out how you're going to go about whatever you have to do from that point on, once you've come to the realization that your relationship is no longer working. Number 3, remove yourself from the situation. Just get out. It is so funny how you cannot think when you're in a certain situation. It is pressing on you. Remove yourself from that situation. Number 4, roll out. Leave. Your presence. Everything about you needs to be gone from that situation. Don't leave any clothes. Don't call. Don't talk. Don't anything. Nothing. Just remove yourself totally from the situation and roll out. Like I said, make sure you roll out. Be gone. Be done with it. And number 5, rebuild. Know that whatever is left, you have a skill, a talent. You are wonderful, that you can do whatever you set your mind to. So realization, revamping, removing, rolling out, and rebuilding will allow you, if you must, even if you love someone, it will allow you to leave them with a peace of mind. And this is Nikki at the Fashion Fiasco Show. I am your girl, Nikki Fiasco, and check me out on Blog Talk Radio. blogtalkradio.com/Fashion Fiasco. Listen to me at night. I do News in 30 at 11 p.m. And you can listen to me by cell, actually, by calling 424-222-5357. Leave me a comment. I have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Nikki Fiasco, NICKIFIASCO. And you guys have a good night. Talk to you again. Bye.